Marianne Williamson sometimes says that sometimes we need to be brought to our knees.
Oh, that was the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
It's so true. And it was just, I think it was everything, you know, my daughters weren't living with me because during COVID, just going through a relationship. And I actually love the healthiness of COVID. Because I set up a whole gym in my home. I was eating clean. I wasn't drinking.
Yeah.
I had a sauna. I have a sauna, so I did a sauna every day. So it was so clean. It's so healthy. But I think it was probably to the last year of COVID where I really thought, okay, I'm going through a change. Emotionally, spiritually. And I was just paralyzed. I just stayed home. And this is when people can get out more. And all I could do was just be by myself.
Hey, it's Helen, and welcome to the Helen Mt Podcast. You're back in studio.
I love being here. Aww. Oh my God.
Yeah. So how long were you in Florida?
Well, February 1st.
Okay.
And today's Thursday. We came home Tuesday night, but I did come home for a week for work, but it was like 12-hour days. So I don't need, but it was just a long time.
Yeah.
And doing the podcast virtually, it's not the same.
Yeah, I know.
You have this energy when we're here together in the studio and it's live. It's so much better.
I know. And it's funny because we did Chris. We did Chris Noth where we were both here and he was on that. But that's better because there's something about you and I being together though,
so
right?
It's really different. So I mean, you do, but I struggled because you don't feel like a guest, but you just don't feel as present.
No, I get it.
And you handled it really well on your own here. It was great.
Yeah. I did a couple at home.
That's right. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you find like I don't like seeing myself? So when you're on when you're doing it through Zoom, like I always try, like I kind of, I don't know why, but do you find that when you're doing it?
Yeah, I don't like it because I see my eyes go there.
Yeah.
Versus, and then I'm looking at it, then it's like, okay, so I'm fixing myself up in front of the camera. So I was like, I can't do this. Yeah.
So being back, I thought it would be a great thing for us to do. And we spoke about, we got some fun ideas coming up.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've experienced this, that I was on a location shoot and the woman, Stacy, said to me, she goes, I love your podcast. And she goes, what does MT stand for? And people are always like, I find wanting to know more about us.
Yeah.
And I think sort of in the time that we're living in, I think people are craving sort of more of that authentic story and what our story is.
Yeah.
And being that it's your birthday month,
happy
birthday.
Thank you.
I thought that we could start off since you're back where I would just, I don't want to say interview, but have a conversation with you so that people get to know you more and get to know like who is MT.
Right?
Yeah,
thanks. I mean, it feels special, but I'm not used to having that attention on me.
I know.
Yeah, but
I know. But you are special.
I know. Thank you. Well, you made me feel special today.
Aww.
Walking in with my flowers and my birthday gifts. It's beautiful.
Yay. And you brought me back some nice necklaces.
Yeah, now we're in
sync.
sync.
I know.
Yeah.
I think people must think that I just copy you because whenever you have something where did you get that?
We have the same vibe with that style, which is great.
Yeah.
And you and I are both into kind of red accessories.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I know. If anybody knows where we can get red beads, like those chunky big red beads with a denim shirt. Have you seen those?
Like how big?
Like big, like kind of like they're almost like wooden. Have you seen them?
I have some at home. I thought they'd be too big. Yeah.
Oh, I love that look.
Yeah. I can find. Hey.
You can do
as your stylist, I'm not your stylist, but as a stylist, I will source that for you. For sure, I can get those. 100%.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get to the show, we're just going to hear a word from our new sponsor. I am so excited to share our brand new sponsor with you. And this one is extra special because it's close to our hearts. It's none other than MT Meikle's incredible business, Le Closet. MT has helped me with my own style so many times. And what I love about Le Closet is that they work within your budget, they're Canadian-owned, and they do their best to support Canadian designers and businesses. Their team of personal stylists has helped thousands of women and men feel more confident and put together. Whether you're starting fresh or just want to refine your own current look, They work with you to build your wardrobe that's uniquely you, aligned with your lifestyle, your personality, and your goals. They offer everything from one-on-one style consultant. They can help you elevate your professional image, or you can book online styling. La Closet helps you create a powerful connection between who you are and what you wear. And here's the best part. You can book a free 15-minute consultation right now by heading to La Closet and use the code HTMT. Their contact information is in the show notes, so check them out and start showing up as your most aligned and stylish self with a little help from La Closet. Now, let's get back to the show. One of the things that people might want to know about you, which I found was very interesting, is I'm a little bit obsessed with twins.
Yeah.
CBC did a documentary a few years ago on twins. Now, they were identical twins, but you're a twin.
I'm a twin, a fraternal twin with a sister.
Yeah.
And my sister is 4 minutes older than I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so fraternal is hereditary and paternal is like a freak of nature. Is that right?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I should know that, but I don't. But as fraternal, I mean, there's differences. Like, I'm taller.
Do you guys look alike?
We look like sisters.
Okay.
But there's definitely differences.
Yeah.
She's more freckles, more the red hair complexion like my grandmother. I'm maybe 4 inches taller. She's a lot more muscular. But some of our mannerisms are the same.
Okay.
And sometimes we would give each other gifts. And I would give her like a scarf, a purse, and shoes.
Yep.
She gives me a scarf and a purse and shoes.
Oh, I love
But
that.
different styles, of course.
Yeah.
And so she lives in Hamilton. That's where I grew up.
Yeah.
And it's different. Sometimes you kind of wish that we would be live closer because you can just do, like you and I talked about the impromptus.
Yeah.
But we text and talk all the time.
So you guys are close.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you guys were growing up, did you have to deal with, like, I always wondered being a twin. I think it's a little bit different when you're not identical, but if there's that comparison all the time.
No, we never felt that, but we all, like, growing up, I remember I was always the, I think, red person in clothes. My sister was on the blue. Were
your parents dressed? What do you mean?
Like, we get the same item of clothing,
Yes.
but mine was red, hers was blue.
Yeah.
Or was it the other way around? I can't remember.
Yeah.
We shared a room.
Okay.
And so we would talk at night. We shared a closet, which wasn't always the best thing because we would steal each other's clothes. And that's when we got into fights.
Yeah.
We went to this. So I think with having a twin, like we always, like for example, high school, we go to a dance.
Yeah.
Or go to the first day of school. You never really felt nervous or alone because you always know that you're walking in with your sister.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to find the friend to kind of plan to kind of go in with or share a locker with.
Okay.
But then we went to university. I went right into the Bachelor of Science program and she went into kinesiology. So then we were apart and then she transferred into my faculty the year after.
Okay.
So I was a year ahead. But we kind of had the same friends and some of them were very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Anne Marie.
Anne Marie.
So we call her Nini.
Okay.
And then my nieces and nephews call me Titi.
Okay. Oh, that's what I call Tristan.
No way.
I call him
Oh,
Titi.
I love that name. So I was actually thinking I would use that as a grandmother name too one day.
So I know you've said it before on the show, but MT stands for
Mary Teresa.
Mary
and
Teresa.
that started when I was younger. People in my family, especially my brother and my friends, didn't want to say Mary Teresa and Anne Marie.
Yeah.
It was like 4 names. So I just got MT.
Yeah.
And she got Nini based out of because of my kids and kind of stuck.
I love that.
So it's been like that, oh gosh, 30 plus years, 35 years. I've been known as MT.
I love that.
Yeah, thank you. Except for my parents.
They still call you Mary Teresa?
Teresa.
Teresa.
Teresa. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I just want to go back to when you said so when you went into university, that was for nursing.
My Bachelor of Science in nursing.
So what was it that made you want to get into nursing?
So my brother was in med school.
Yeah.
My mother taught nursing. My aunt was an ICU nurse. Another aunt was in research at McMaster.
Wow.
So it was like medicine was in my family. My uncle was my pediatrician.
Okay.
So it was in our family. My father was in television, so like that was different. So, and it was just almost like you go to get your degree, you're guaranteed a job. The medical profession was in our family.
Yeah.
And I did it, but I did palliative for a little bit. Like I did like acute nursing, but then I went into the preventative, which I loved.
So what's the preventative?
Preventative is like public health.
Okay.
Which is like a Monday to Friday. I was in Toronto. I was in schools. I was a public health nurse. I did research at Mount Sinai. So I didn't have to do the shift work.
Okay, you didn't like that?
No. I did it through training, but it just wasn't me.
Did you get to wear the scrubs?
I wore the scrubs.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. And I was just saying to my kids the other day is that I actually had to be in like surgery to view, like labor and delivery.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
But I just did not want the shift work. I wanted my quality of life to be normal in the sense of my routine.
Now, didn't you also, though, with the nursing, I thought you work with mental illness
I did.
and
I worked at
anorexic eating disorders?
Yeah. So then before public health, which was like probably like the job that you kind of always want to get in nursing because it's a Monday to Friday, I did the Clark Institute. So I was on, I did bipolar and schizophrenia. I was a nurse on that floor. And then I was at Sick Kids and I did teenage eating disorders and suicide.
Wow.
And I did that for 3 years. And then I did the Clark for two years, I think.
So when you see now, like sort of, I think mental illness and anxiety and so is just through the roof right now. And even young girls and boys, but with anorexia or body dysmorphia. What do you think when you see that? Like, why do you think it's just that people are talking about it more? Do you think that it's social media? Like what it is like from your teaching, but now like, looking at it, what do you think it is?
I definitely think social media is a huge factor because they're all comparing themselves to everyone else. What they look like, what they have, and, what they can't buy.
Yeah.
So I think that pressure is a real big factor in increase in suicide and eating disorders. And eating disorders is not always starts off with wanting to be skinny.
No, it's like control.
It's control. So the negative attention is just as important as positive attention.
Oh.
So no matter what kind of attention you're getting or one is getting, even if it's negative, it's still attention on you or that person.
I know that. That's interesting.
So that's where they can't really decipher the positive and negative of the attention, but as long as there's attention on them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, the social thing, I've listened to a lot of, you and I both listen to a lot of podcasts, but when I listen, a lot of the podcasts I listen to, the experts are saying that in like 4 or 5 years, we're going to realize that these things are so detrimental. It's almost like, have cigarettes. They had a warning sticker.
Exactly.
Right. And I see it. People, there's actually this great exhibit, and I think I could be wrong. It was called Black Mirror.
Oh, and there's a series of that.
Yeah. So this is, it might not be Black Mirror, but what a photographer did is he took pictures of people walking across the street, having dinner, couples sitting together. But what he did is he took the phones out. So all you see is all these people walking, looking at their hand, or standing in line to get coffee, and they're just looking at their hand, or at a dinner table, and it's just incredible.
Yeah. Didn't you tell me that you're in line some places, sometimes you go on your phone?
I have a little. So if I'm standing in a coffee, like Starbucks or anywhere, I won't go on my phone.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me of the movie Brazil, where they're all just like,
Right, exactly.
So I just refuse.
Yeah, that's what. So I try to use that. I try to do that myself.
But you're good.
I'm good. Okay, so I have certain times where I don't as soon as I wake up, I don't go on my phone right away.
Yeah, that's so good.
I kind of wait till I have a 45-minute ritual, between I do my vitamins and get myself set up and everything. Then I sit down and then I journal and then I'll go on my phone. And at night, I really try to, by 8:30, 9 for sure, not off, but just not be on it.
Yeah.
Or respond in depth.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like I just need some time to unwind.
I get it.
And don't you do the same?
I'm not as good as you. And I don't know why.
Yeah.
But and I don't know even if the boys are home, it's just that I think it's just a habit of checking my phone. Like if I go and sit and watch TV, my phone's next to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I
Yeah.
don't know. And I don't know if it's because of my mom is like 87. She just turned 87. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's, but I don't know what it is. But I do want to go on a little bit of a diet. So like how you do, like at 8 o'clock, like I'm done with my phone.
Yeah, right.
Unless
So
like my boys need me, obviously.
exactly. But I mean, I see if I usually respond to text pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can't, I always kind of say, "Are you okay?" or "Do you need me?"
Yes.
But if I get 2 phone calls, I will call back right away. Like I
Yeah.
just know that. I get the first call, if to call back again, I know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I need it. I just like it's just
I know. I know.
yeah.
So after your nursing, is that where you met your ex-husband through that?
I no, not through that.
Because he was in the med. I mean,
He was a dentist.
yes.
No, I was already in nursing.
Okay.
So yeah, he was practicing
Yeah. And then
dentistry.
you left it because you just wanted to focus on being a mom
Yeah.
and take care of the girls.
So when Hannah was 3 or younger, like 1, and Lauren 1.5, and Lauren was like 5 months, I stopped working.
Yeah.
No, I started working part-time, 2 days
Okay.
a week.
But not in the nursing
in
field.
public health.
You did in public health. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I did that for a little bit. Then I thought, no, you know what?
You're done.
I'm done. So we
Yeah.
stayed home. And then, and that was it for nursing. So I think I graduated MAC 1990. And I practiced until 2000,
Okay.
maybe.
And then you got into the fashion industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you always interested in fashion?
So it's funny you say that because I remember looking at those 17 magazines and all
Yeah.
that, and I kind of always knew, like you have a sixth sense. So I remember looking at these magazines thinking, like, I'm going to be in fashion.
Yeah.
I can't describe it. But then, so when my kids were in school, grade school, I was living up in Kleinberg. I wanted to do something. I felt like I needed to just add more depth to, my workouts
Yeah.
and lunching and, maintain the house. So I went back to school to the Academy of Fashion Design. And I did that for a year and a half. And then I never worked retail, ever. And Andrew, my ex-husband at the time, one day said, I saw the store T&T driving by, and there was like a sign, looking for people. I'm thinking, T&T, I knew the store. I was like, I've never worked retail.
Right.
Anyway, so I went there, and our good friend Cheryl, who's the best,
Yes.
and Aria, who owns it, said, sure. I said, I can only do like 11 till 3 because I had to, or drop off my kids, pick them up. They're so accommodating, and I did that for 2-3 days a week. And that was humbling.
Yes, it is.
Because I've never done that.
Don't you think that everybody, like whether it's retail or bartending or restaurant work, like it is, I just think you learn so much.
Right? So,
yeah.
And not only that, though, but then when I have my peers, my friends come in to shop, here I am working, as a salesperson, and they're like going shopping, then going out for lunch. It's like, oh, but that didn't interest me. I wanted to learn as much as I could.
Okay. And then when did you decide to start Le Closet?
Okay, that's a funny story. Okay, I'll be quick on this one.
Yeah.
So I was doing modeling at the time, and at the same time, my ex-husband went back to do his executive MBA, and we made a plan that I will be available a lot more to take over all the extra things with the kids in the house because he'll be studying a lot and practicing. Then I was doing the modeling, and then I was at T&T, and I get this call at the time saying, and I got this modeling job that I auditioned for. It was a 9-day cruise. And I was like, yes. And I thought, oh, what am I thinking? I can't do it.
Right.
Like I just, who's going to, the kids and the back and forth. And it's like, oh, I remember this lady at the time was shopping. She's always there. And she saw me and I got to know her. She goes, are you okay? I said, oh, I just got this, and she goes, and she stopped me. She said, if this is your own business, would you think twice about going or not going? Or you just make a decision.
Right.
It's like, oh, so we met for coffee, and I told her what I would love to do, and she goes, okay, let me help you start.
Oh.
Her name was Caitlin Eckler, and she started, and she worked with me for maybe 3 years to get it off the ground. I did some work in it, and then
wow,
that's how it started.
I love that.
Yeah. So
now you're one of those people that when you see you're so I have another girlfriend of mine, Deborah, who's an incredible stylist. And it's the same thing when I'm with Deborah. I'll always think I get dressed. I'm like, oh, and then I see her and I'm like, oh, fuck.
I think
Like,
the same with you.
right?
I'm like,
And
looking at
you
you
always
thinking,
look amazing.
"Geez."
But she'll like, but do you find that your style is uniquely yours? Like, do you have rules when it comes to fashion, or do you have things that, like, whether for yourself or other people, like, are there sort of like, I don't like the word rules, but are there do's and don'ts, or?
Well, I always, my tagline, I think, would be, you own your style, don't let the style own you.
Yes.
So just because there's a name on like a designer name on it, or it was like $1,000 and I have to wear it, if you're not comfortable in it, like, it's not going to give you this great style, a confident style look, or this feeling.
Yeah.
So I always say, you know what, just work with what you feel comfortable with and the fit.
Yeah.
So I mean, look at you and I. We're almost dressed the exact same. Black.
Yeah.
My red socks, your red shoes.
Yeah.
Right. So you know, you and I are very similar. I do like a bit of the androgynous.
I know.
Look.
And I think we're similar. Like, I love wearing something feminine, but then with like a chunky boot.
Right.
Or like with a black. I remember
Yeah.
once seeing Angelina Jolie, and she had this beautiful dress, but then she had these leather cuffs that kind of, I love that balance of feminine and masculine.
That's me, exactly. And you wouldn't see me in a heel anymore.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That's because we're also tall.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just can't. So.
Now, what about, some people think that fashion is superficial, or, you know, why would you spend money on clothes? But I kind of feel like fashion is an expression of who we are and what we're feeling.
100%. Look at you.
Yeah.
You spend money on your hair.
Yeah.
You spend money on your car.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? If you're putting money into that stuff, like, it's first impressions happen within 3 seconds of someone seeing you.
Right.
And what is the first thing they see? They don't see you naked.
Yeah.
They see you with your clothes.
Yeah.
And you know that when you dress the way you want to dress and feel good,
confident,
the whole day changes.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Hey, but I can go in athletic wear all day long.
I know.
So
I know. Well, because you look amazing in it.
No.
But also what I love about you too, like your business and you, is that it's not just all about high-end fashion.
No.
Because I'm very much about finding that balance,
right?
and where you've often said you're at Zara looking for clothes for someone. And I think that's so, like, that affordability key is so important, because not everybody, like, most people cannot afford to spend, you know, $1,000 on a bag or a jacket.
But they think if you buy the $10 t-shirt at Zara and they think, I can only wear this to bed or to the gym, not thinking I can wear this dressed up.
Yeah.
This is how I wear it. Right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter about the price.
I agree.
Right. And I find, like, you know, like, except for my this, I got this on sale at a discount store.
Yeah.
My jacket. These jeans are R13s. They're like my investment pieces. But like this, I think this t-shirt is Target.
No,
so,
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm going to shift gears.
Yeah.
So one of the things about you, many of the things about you, but I think you're a very, like, a heart-centered person. You give a lot. You are very generous. And I even remember when I first met you, because it was like 14 years ago.
Wow.
And you came in for photos. And I remember when you left, I was just like, I want to be her friend.
Oh,
like, there was this longing for you. Like, there was like this pull. And I know that a lot of people feel that with you. And I think part of it is that you're just kind, you're open, you listen to when people talk, you want to help. How is that for you? Like, were you always that way growing up, or was it something that sort of, you know, because when you think of it, when you got into nursing, like, that's to help people.
Right,
and even the job that you do now with Le Closet, it's like being of service still. Like, was that always?
I think I was always that kind of person. I was like, I definitely feel more comfortable giving than taking.
Yeah.
And that's always been me. But I know I always had, like, a high energy, not the sense of I'm bouncing off the walls, but I have this aura of energy. And I'm even aware of it.
Yeah.
And like you have this presence that you just feel it. So with the giving aspect and the kindness, I think if I didn't have kindness or giving, I wouldn't be me.
So what do you do then? Like, do you ever get to that point where you're like, I think actually, you know what? I think that's why sometimes when I speak to you, you're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I
I'm
get
just
that.
realizing that.
I do get it. I feel like I do in a sense of like I love to give. I love to be there for people. I love to have my everything done for my children. But there comes a time where I just feel like I just want to be looked after.
Yeah.
Um, I want to be pampered. I'm definitely love being if someone just like pamper me.
Aw,
You
yeah.
know, like it's just it's who I am. I
Yeah.
just had this conversation the other day, and I just said, I am someone that could be needy because I give and do so much. I want to get it back, but I
Yeah.
don't do it
To get it
to
back.
get it back.
Yeah.
I just after
It's
a
like
while,
you need your cup full.
yeah.
Yeah.
After a while, I was like, okay, look like you
Yeah.
did for me today.
Yeah.
Like that was just flowers, the pastries, all those little gifts are so me.
Yeah.
I get so excited, but I generally think of all the like I think about all the how much time and thoughtfulness went into that.
Yeah, I get that.
And that means so much to me.
Yeah. So living your life like you're very heart-centered,
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
there ever been a time where living your life from that heart center, knowing you're gonna do something and it's gonna hurt someone else and it's gonna hurt you? And that can be
Yeah, I can give an
that can
example.
be leaving a marriage, it can be
Yeah.
leaving a job, it can be anything. But also, I just heard this recently and I loved it, where you get to choose your hard, right?
Mhm.
So sometimes staying in a situation is going to be hard and leaving it is going to be
Yeah,
hard,
that's a good
but
point.
you get to choose it. So have you ever had that where you've gone, like you followed your heart? And I mean, it could
Yeah.
even be with, doing Le Closet, like
Yeah.
starting your business takes a lot of courage, but there was
Yeah.
something inside you that knew this was for you.
Yeah, that for sure. But I had the right people with me to help me.
Right.
Um, divorce was
Yeah.
definitely one of the hardest things.
Yeah.
But I think overall, besides that chapter, everything else I do is a decision that's not hard. Is that I'm
Yeah.
truly living in what I want to do.
There was a time where you've shared it a few times on the show of, you've never shared what it was, and I'm not going to
Yeah.
ask you to, but that was like during COVID was a really challenging time for you. Do you feel there's Marianne Williamson sometimes says that sometimes we need to be brought to our knees?
Oh, that was the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
It's so true. And it was just, I think it was everything, my daughters weren't living with me because during COVID, just going through a relationship. And I actually love the healthiness of COVID. Because I set up a whole gym in my home. I was eating clean. I wasn't drinking.
Yeah.
Had a sauna. I have a sauna, so I did a sauna every day. So it was so clean. It's so
Yeah.
healthy. But I think it was probably to the last year of COVID where I really thought, okay, I'm going through a change, emotionally, spiritually, and I was just paralyzed. I just stayed home, and this is when people can get out more. And all I could do was just be by myself.
Yeah.
Because I had to get comfortable with me.
Yeah.
And really understand who I am, because it was always go, 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 go and busy, where I never really sat in my own skin. And that's when a lot of my past things came up, where I had to really deal with it deep, like do a deep dive for the first time.
Yeah.
And it was the best thing that's ever happened to me. Like you said, going down to your knees, was exactly where I was meant to be.
Yeah.
And I hope everyone can experience a chapter in their lives where they can get stopped in their tracks.
Yeah.
And be forced to strip away the layers.
Yeah. Do you ever, because you're very, as much as you're heart-centered, you do get it in your head a
Yeah.
lot too, right? And you're an Aries, and so Aries are called like very quick.
Always. I make
the
up my own
thoughts in your
stories.
head, and you're.
Yeah.
So what do you do to balance? Like, do you ever? Can you tell when you're like, okay, I'm too stuck in my head, or like, oh, I'm too much in my heart? Like, there's that sort of.
I would say I'm more stuck in my head than I am more stuck in my heart.
Yeah.
And even talking to you sometimes, and sometimes you kind of, guide me through stuff. It's like, okay, yeah, right, get out of your head. And I do have that. I tend to create the stories before they're even going to happen.
I know.
Thinking, oh, what if this happens? And I just have to stop myself and say, it's enough.
I know. I had that with you. I was telling my husband where you had mentioned, you said a couple of times about doing the podcast that you want to speak more. And so I told Hal, I took that as like, oh, she thinks I'm talking too much.
See?
I have to stop talking. And I thought, and then when I said that, she went, no. It said, I need to, right?
I need to be, I need to do more research on these things.
But isn't that funny though, that I created this narrative of like, oh, she thinks that I'm talking too much. I need to stop talking so much. What I do, because I do have the gift of the gab too, but it's, do you know, but I think it is interesting how we do that. We go to that negative
communication was key. But you and I are at the point now where you and I can talk about anything that's bothersome because we know that we come out of it stronger, closer.
Well, I feel like we're sisters in that way, right? Like I feel like I could say something wrong and you could get upset me, but then we're just like,
no,
we're done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. And that's very few people you can have that with.
Yeah.
But like you went through, like I do that a lot.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, stop. And especially before I go to bed. And I actually, I find myself doing that, I say over and over again, worrying about it is not going to change the outcome.
Yeah.
Whatever stories I'm thinking is not going to change the outcome. Like, park it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
and that thing we talked about with your friend Adele.
Yeah.
Like the API, assume positive intention.
Right.
Right. And that kind of, or even you, who you love, Mel Robbins, it's like, let them. Right. So if somebody's upset with you, let them.
Yeah.
Right. Who cares? Like, it's not your problem.
It's not. And that's what it's. So as long as we know that we haven't done anything really to hurt somebody. Yeah. And I always say that, look at from the place I'm coming from. Yeah. If I upset you, it's not like, wasn't a place of meanness. It was a place of, oops. Yeah. I didn't realize it.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. I agree. I just want to talk a little bit about your fitness.
Oh God, yeah.
Which is, I think, your favorite subject.
Yeah, I love it. I know. And yours now too.
Do you see the connection between your physical health and that discipline? How it's sort of, it's all connected to the mental, the spiritual, like it's 100%. All, like when you're working out, you eat better, you think clear, you think clearer, you're more grounded, like that whole connection of it.
100%, because when you work out and give yourself that time, it's self-love. Yeah. And everything else follows when you care for yourself. Yeah. First. Yeah. And when you show discipline and don't let it slide, thinking, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm only going to do half an hour. I might as well do some calls when I'm doing it. You're not respecting yourself, I find, to the fullest. So give yourself that time. Like, you wouldn't cancel coming here today for a podcast because you wanted to watch a show. Yeah. So why cancel on yourself? Yeah. And it's been like that for me since I was 16 when my brother gave my sister and I a gym membership for our birthday.
And that was it.
And I just really, and I think you become addicted to the endorphins. Right. I definitely drink way more water. Yeah. I eat more and healthier because when I don't exercise, I don't have an appetite. It's like,
interesting.
It's the opposite. Okay. So I eat way more when I exercise. Yeah. But yeah, so my day tomorrow, I'll always, when I plan like what I'm doing in work or like, my family, I always also say, okay, what time am I going to exercise?
And it's interesting, like going back to when we said the hard, because I know some people it's hard. It's hard to get started. It's hard. But it's going to be hard later in life when you can't walk up a flight of stairs or when you have
Yeah.
back problems
Yeah.
or you have osteoporosis, right? So it's like, yes, it's hard
But
sometimes.
not everyone, I'm very self-disciplined.
You
I don't
are.
need a personal trainer. I don't need to go to the gym and do classes. Mind you,
Yeah.
I love my yoga classes. I love doing it on my own.
Yeah.
Or I can push myself.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't have that. So
Yes.
what can you do? You can, if you can't work out with somebody, be accountable, saying, I'm going to text you saying I'm at the gym.
Yeah.
I'll send you a picture and then
Yeah.
I'll text you when I'm done.
Yeah.
So you have to be accountable to somebody else if you can't be accountable for yourself.
Yes.
And it's just a big part of my life. And I think,
Yeah.
and I remember my daughters, when they're playing house, when they're younger, rather than saying, they'll say, okay, so today's your babysitter's today and mommy's going to go for a run. And so that's how they used to play house.
Oh, I love that.
So they're exposed to that.
And you imprinted that on them, right?
I think
like that.
so.
And I think that's something is that, when a lot of people, when they tell their kids like, oh, eat well or do this, but they don't do it themselves.
Exactly.
Right?
And one thing I don't do is I don't go on a scale.
Yeah.
If I go on a scale, it's like by chance, like once every 6 months. My clothes are how I feel. And I know that when I exercise and I do weights, my weight will go up because of muscle.
Yes.
But it's how I feel.
Yeah.
And I'm a big into sweating.
Yes.
Because I find the sweating is what detoxes our body.
Yeah. So, silly question.
No, nothing silly.
I find sometimes because I do love doing hot yoga.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, well, how am I going to do this? Like, I can't do it on my lunch hour because then I have clients and you're all, like, your hair's all, you're sweaty and messy, right? Does that ever, like, do you have to time? Because yoga, the hot yoga you do is very specific. Like, you're drenched. So you couldn't do that and then go have a meeting at the Park Hyatt
I would,
something.
and that's it. So I don't value my hair as much to not work out.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, some people say, well, you just got your hair done. And I'm like, I don't care. I'll wear it in a ponytail.
Yeah.
I do not value that as much as a great feeling I have if I did it.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. And I just, doesn't bother me. Like,
I love that.
I'll never stop because my makeup was done from a photo shoot or my hair was just done.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, I have a ponytail. I can put it back.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Or you can wear a baseball cap too.
It's true. I know I should do that more. But you're getting into
I can't wear a baseball cap when I'm shooting because I hit the camera.
That's right, yeah. But you've been like loving your yoga.
Yeah.
I
do power yoga.
Okay, yeah.
And I love it. It's hot yoga.
Yeah.
And I do love it. I do.
And
they taught me, and I do a lot of walks because Benny is my dog. He's so crazy. He needs it. But I do it. And I go down, I walk by the lake, and I love that. It's so beautiful. But something that I've learned, because what I found difficult in yogas, when you go down and you do
chaturangas,
I would just sort of collapse. And my yoga instructor said, don't go right down. She goes, you're actually not supposed to go right down. She said, so just go and then go up. And it cut because I was always felt like I was falling behind.
Yeah.
But and that's the thing too. Like if you're struggling with something, ask someone. And because there's so many
builds your
tips.
Shoulders as well. Yeah. And I have another tip for you is I always keep my elbows in to my waist.
Yeah.
When I do that versus out.
Yeah.
Because it really works your triceps.
Yeah. We should do a class together.
Oh, I would love that. Hey, maybe we can.
Yeah.
This week. We'll see.
Okay.
We have so much to do. We don't have enough hours in the day.
I know. So let's talk about aging.
Okay. Yeah. As I just turned 58.
58.
Yeah.
Yeah. But honestly, it's when you think of the Golden Girls, they were in their 50s.
I know.
Isn't that insane?
Can you believe that?
I know. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But we had Ashton Applewhite on our last podcast. How did you feel about, like, did you learn stuff from that? Like, did it change sort of things for you about how you felt about aging or even your words that you would say around it or no?
Yeah, it did. More of the words I'll say around it. But no, I think I pretty much have my viewpoints about aging.
So what do you feel good about aging, or is it a sticky spot for you?
It can be sticky at times.
Yeah.
I'm more aware of life events as I'm aging. For example, like and we talked about this on the podcast with Ashton Applewhite, going to bed at night early or being home early and getting up early.
Yeah.
Like I value that way more.
Yeah.
I find that's a big part of aging.
Yes.
I'm a vitamin junkie. I take so many vitamins. I do all like the extra tests for longevity and all my levels because with aging, I don't want to age not being able to do what I can do.
Right.
And that's what scares me.
So is it feeling that you're losing a power or what does that feel
Yeah,
like?
I always say
or control?
Not control.
No.
A bit of my youth from how active I was. I think it's a big part of it, to be honest. Is like, I used to run marathons. I used to run 10K, not even think of it. Now
So is
I
it
can't.
part of your identity? Because you are, like, when people think of you, like, it is part of your identity.
I never thought losing it would be losing my identity.
Okay.
Actually, I never thought that because if I can't do that, I can go into more yoga.
Right.
So I never really thought of that. It is definitely a big part of me.
Totally it is.
But it's more for health. I think the glow you have in your skin, the mobility, the strength as we get older. I don't want to be frail and weak.
So was that modeled to you growing up? Like, did you see like, what are your parents like? Is your mom?
My mom's 89 and she still cooks the big Italian meal. She still drives and does her groceries.
Yeah.
She carries a case of water from the front door to the closet.
Amazing.
Whereas my father, he's 93. Still mentally, he's like 50, but he's slower physically.
Yeah.
But my brother was very active. No, but you know what? Like my parents played bocce ball as their fitness. I don't know where we got it from.
Yeah.
But as you become hooked on the great feeling, like you just walk stronger.
Yes. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, totally it does. And I think that sometimes you don't realize the importance of it unless our producer, Chris, has a sprained ankle, right? Or, or if you pull your back out, or during COVID, I experienced frozen shoulder for like a year and a half.
So what'd you do?
Oh, it's horrible. It's in a whole other story, but I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Like it was horrible, but I couldn't do certain things and I was exhausted because I couldn't sleep. And, but it makes you realize that one of the things, and even when my dad passed away, he was 70 and he jogged every day. Like he was the epitome of health. And seeing him, what I realized watching him was that it's not about how long you live, it's the quality of your life.
Exactly.
So I think with you, it's about that quality. Like you want to be able to go because you love traveling. You want to be able to continue to do what you do and have that quality of life because it does fill your soul.
Yeah, it does. And you know what? It's the energy. I have, don't you have so much more energy after you do a workout? And that's what I'm high on.
Yeah.
That energy I have is just so great. And I just have more bounce on my step.
Yeah, I get it.
But it's a big part of my life.
No, it's a huge part of your life.
Yeah.
And it's inspiring, like for people listening to this too, like you inspire me with, you inspire me in so many ways, but definitely, and I know like our friend Mike Shalott, he also like people when they're around you, like it's contagious.
Thank you. Yeah.
Right?
Well, thanks. But like this morning, I had like a full day of meetings to come in here.
Yeah.
And normally you stay home and make sure your outfit's right and, fix yourself up. And I thought, but I went early to the gym and just packed clothes that I thought I would wear for the day.
Yeah.
But so that's how I handle how I look.
Yeah.
I don't give it up thinking I should stay home and really kind of figure out a nice outfit. Which maybe sometimes I should do that. But
but like you said, like you can wear workout stuff, but it looks great.
Well, thank you.
Right?
But my workouts are more important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I
know sometimes Kevin's like, "Are you really going to set the alarm again at 6 o'clock to get up and work out?"
Yeah.
It's like, yep.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. So we're doing this podcast.
Yeah.
So this is it feels like it's been almost a year that it's actually been because Cheryl's birthday's coming up. And that was when we were reunited again. And then that's when our friendship, because we hadn't seen each other in a while, where it was just like, again, that
we need to do an anniversary dinner.
We should do an anniversary dinner. But how are you feel? Like what does this podcast do for you, first of all?
What it does for me, it brings me to see you more. You and I talk all the time more.
Yeah.
I think that is definitely a huge highlight.
Yeah.
I would say the best thing is you and I talking and planning
Yeah.
and sharing with
Yeah.
someone that I love and respect so much.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be that invested in the podcast.
Yes, I agree. Oh,
And also is the stories that we can share.
I know.
The fact that we can do this and share our spirituality, your spirituality, and life tips.
Yeah.
I think we can, but I think it's you and I first.
Yeah, I think so
Definitely.
too.
Yeah.
I think so too.
I couldn't do this with anybody.
No. And it's also like I get excited. Like today I was so excited
Yeah.
about coming here and doing
Plus
this.
I haven't seen you like in 3
I
months.
know.
And I feel about when you said MT, let's just talk about you and let people get to know you. I was uncomfortable in that I don't want all that attention.
Yeah.
I wanted to equal it out. So then I wanted to talk about you. And you said, we'll do that next time.
Yeah. But I also think too, though, that from like, I get a lot of feedback, people, listening to the show. And there are things that I know that you have said where people have been, oh, I loved when MT said that, or I loved when you guys asked your guests this question. And because I do think, you and I listen to podcasts, like we love, you love Mel Robbins or I love Rich Roll. And I learn so much from listening to other people. And if you can make those gentle shifts, or if we can make those be of service and make those gentle shifts for people, that's so awesome.
Exactly. And I think the fact that we can share to our audience, just show up for yourself.
Yes.
What is important for you?
Yeah.
And how you age, how you live your life.
Yeah.
How you practice your spirituality. It's for you.
Yeah.
And we can provide them with tips and examples and all this stuff, but of all that, so there's going to be some component that's going to be best for somebody.
Yes.
And own it.
Yeah. So one of the taglines that we have is it's never too late.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody like it's never too late to?
Self-love.
Yeah.
I think if you truly love and respect yourself, you start looking after yourself better.
Yeah.
Own your own style. Do what you want to do in life. Start something that you've always wanted to. But I think if you're not loving who you are inside or as a person, you can't fully give it your all.
No.
Yeah.
And also with we are getting older. Like I'm going to be 59, you're 58.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of our demographic is women that are older. Is that go after your dreams.
Yes, it does not
don't think you're too old. Like I look at Jane Fonda and I'm like, holy crap!
Right?
Like she just doesn't stop going and she doesn't stop doing things. And I don't know what it is, MT, but it makes me so sad to think that we are only of value during this certain time of our life, between, let's say, 25 and 35 or whatever, or when people are afraid of getting old or they think that the best of their life is behind them and just like, it's not.
It's not, right?
And if it is, like if you feel you're too, what is it that makes you feel uncomfortable with getting older, right? Like, is it I know in the field that we are in, I find some women really struggle with the aesthetics of getting older, which I totally respect, but there's so much you can do for that,
Or
right?
knowledge. Like I can't do this new tech thing because I have no idea how to do that. But it's thinking, oh, I don't need to learn that now. I don't need it at this point. So it's
or love, like take a risk, and,
right? Exactly,
like if you want to fall in love again, take that risk and step
80.
out there. You can do it to your 80.
And I think that if there's anything that you and I can do with this podcast is try to really reinforce to everyone that it's not too late.
Yeah.
Or share your fears with us. Like, do you think I can do this? Or how can I do this?
Yeah.
Maybe the how is the biggest thing.
The how.
Right? So maybe that's the biggest hurdle.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you ask the right people, they'll help you get there.
Exactly. And
right?
everyone's out there to help right now. I think so.
Yeah.
I know so.
Yeah. I know that you have, excuse me, a saying that you are exactly where you are meant to be. When you look back at your life, do you see like these sort of invisible strings, like this tapestry that have led you to where you are now? Yeah.
100%. It's every phase or chapter of my life has brought me here. And I don't look back thinking, oh, if only that didn't happen, or if only, I did that. It's just, And if I look back on putting energy or anyone into, a chapter that didn't lead them to where you are right now, it's waste of energy.
Yeah.
It's such a waste, and it'll just drag you down.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad we got a chance to talk. And I'm
Thanks.
glad that our listeners got to know you more and understand you more.
MT, Mount Meikle.
No. Oh, okay. So do you want to explain? So whenever I say to Surrey, whenever I go, hey, Surrey, call MT, it's always like, calling Mount Meikle.
Oh my God. That's right. So
yeah. Didn't you have another friend that happened, Mount Michelle? Wasn't there something you told me that?
Oh, yeah. Someone else messaged me.
I love
it's
that.
Like, yeah. But,
Mount Meikle.
And I think I'm known by MT.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So
yeah, there's only one MT.
Oh, thank you. I hope so. Ugh, for everyone else's sake.
Well, I'm so glad that you were here, that we did this together. It's so glad to be back in the studio with you.
No,
go ahead.
Thanks for sharing me.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of you to share.
Thank you.
And to our listeners, of course, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. And we love you.
We love you very much.
And we appreciate you for being here. Until next time.
Never too late.